Hey guys, welcome back. So I've had a little bit more time to spend on this thing now. I got the router mounted and got it so it's doing its floating action in this thing. And I'll tell you, like, you know, the other one worked pretty good, but this one just works so much better. Having the router, having just that single action and having it on the melamine like this, so it just has to pivot back and forth and then bounce up and down. It just works so much better. It's so much easier to move around, and you know, glad that I made the change back. So right now I've just got a few screws really holding this together to do the floating action like this, but real happy with the way this is going so far. Just was checking here how things were lining up from side to side, and it's lining up nice. And so now what I got to do is I've got to get it so that my router is moving in and out on a handle here. I got to get a nice handle here, do a little stiffening up on this part right here, and then get a lever on here that's going to move my router in and out. And then it's just going to be a matter of putting a bearing on this side and put my fence on, and I'm going to be ready to do the mortise and tenon again. So once I get it done, once I get this thing so it's working right, what I'll do is then we'll do a tear down on this thing and do a rebuild. You know, the same as what I did the pocket hole machine. And then you guys, if you want to build your own, you can. And that's the whole point of this. So a few things, I'm going to grab the camera too and just give you a few close-ups here of this thing. So I was thinking, I always lose the templates. I can't even find any of them that from my previous builds. So what I want to do in the end of this thing is I'm going to put maybe a couple of shelves, or maybe make a couple of, you know, just boxes where I can put my templates for my mortise and tenon jigs in the end of this thing. Just kind of show you down underneath here too now. Like I said, I've just got a few screws, so I'm using the old method. If you've seen that first floating router, my originals, I'm using the same mechanism, just a lever with a couple of pivot points and then the springs to raise it up. And the way this is going to make this work good is because this is sandwiched in between here, this thing can't move this way and it can't rock this way. It's got to stay parallel. So if you've seen that first video where I was talking about making the when I just started thinking about doing the new floating router, this is basically the same thing. You know, if I was to turn this on the horizontal plane, then there it is right there. Except this one, what I'm doing is I'm building a box around it. It's going to be so much better to do everything on the vertical like that, rather than trying to, or on the horizontal plane, rather than trying to do it a vertical plane. It would limit me way too much. So yeah, like I said, now I've just got to put a bearing in this side directly across from the router bit. And then, if you haven't seen this before, whatever I put on this side, if I was to put a mortise on this side or a tenon on this side, then whatever, I just have to line it up on the other side, make my router come out, and then it would make that same exact copy on this side. So I was checking too, and the router bit comes out there about 1.25 inches right now, and that's only with a 1-inch cutter. So I'm going to try to get a 1.5-inch cutter, which would make it stick out there 1 3/4 when I do my routering, which will be plenty enough. I've always just ran my cutters at 1 inch out, so it's going to be nice. It's going to be easy to line this up. I'll probably just use a little wee thin spacer, butt my block up against it, put the little spacer in, and then it's going to line it up every time. And it's nice to be able to have it just 1-to-1, because I'll be able to put whatever I want on this side, put an exact the same size on this side up against a fence, and it'll reproduce it. So a little bit more done. You guys keep tuning in. I'm going to get more of this done, and as I do, I'll shoot you guys some videos. So hopefully you had fun watching, and I thank you for watching this video.